Alrighty, let's take a little tour of our external pump plumbing system. This is going to draw from my cistern over here through this pump vault and go up into my bog over there, my wetland filter. So what we have here is, this is an Advantage Manufacturing ES 8500V variable speed. So it's an 8,500 gallon per hour pump, but it has a variable, you can vary the, I believe it varies the frequency and allows you to turn up or down the RPM on the pump. I'm planning to most of the time run this pump at probably around 3,000 gallons an hour, but when I have it full open, I expect it to do, that's what the bog needs. The bog up there to function properly needs about 3,000 gallons an hour, I believe. But I bought this pump, and it'll do that with very, very low energy consumption. I think like 120 watts or something. And then when I have it full open, it should do, I believe with the head pressure I calculated on this system, it should do about 7,000 gallons an hour, and that's really just to make a more impressive waterfall, when we're out here looking at it or we have guests over or something. So that's the plan for this thing. I've got my suction line here. I've got a little pump vault here. There's a what do they call them? A backwater valve, a sewer backwater valve I'm using as a check valve. It's a swing only check valve. At the bottom of this suction pipe, this right here, if I could do this again, I would do it differently. What I did is I put this T in here with the water flowing into the, this is where the pump takes water in. And because this pump sits above water level, because this is above water level of the cistern, because the water level in the cistern will fluctuate. So unless you bury the pump in a vault all the way at the bottom of the, all the way to the bottom of the cistern, you wouldn't know at any given time whether you're above or below water level. So I'm above water level all the time here, so you need a way to prime the pump, and that means you have to add water to the suction line. The suction line has to be full of water in order for the pump to be able to draw water and start working. So you unscrew this. This is a test plug. You unscrew this test plug, and then I can stick my hose in there or pour water in there to fill this line up. The check valve at the bottom will hold it full, and then this is above the top of this pipe. Oops. And it's above the top of this area, so I can completely fill this entire piping system from this little test plug here. Put the cap back on, and then it's ready to go. You fire it up. And then here's the funny thing I learned. I don't know anything about external pumps. I'm learning as I go right now. Let me tell you, a million times more complicated to plumb than a submersible pump that you just stick down in the vault and run some hose out. Or even with hard piping, it's just phenomenally more less complicated. But this wasn't too bad. I tried to when this pump arrived, I got it under a piece of plastic because you're not supposed to have it exposed to the elements for very long. So it's raining all the time again here. Anyways, when this pump arrived, like most external pumps, the discharge was facing upwards, and I was getting really frustrated because every time you add a fitting in a plumbing system, it it adds head pressure. And so I have a horizontal run up to the bog, and I had a discharge pipe coming up, and so the only way I was going to be able to successfully transition to that was going to be, at least with hard pipe, right, was going to be to have 3 90-degree bends, and that would just, it wouldn't kill the flow, but it's why that's silly to have 3 90-degree bends just to get to the piping that you need to get to. So what I did a little bit of research, and I learned that most pumps have 4 screws, and I can't show you right now, but on the back of the pump where the motor, you get the dry end, and this is the wet end where the impeller is. This is the pump, and over here is the motor, and these are attached together. The motor drives the pump. There's 4 screws that hold it together. You just pull those screws out, and you can rotate it you can put it in essentially 4 positions because there's 4 screws. So you can turn it, you can have it straight up, straight down, side discharge this way, side discharge that way. So I just turned it and put the screws back in. I haven't fired it up yet, so hopefully I didn't mess it up, but I watched a bunch of YouTube videos showing that, yeah, this is just how you, this is how you change the discharge angle of your external pump. So if you have an external pump and you didn't know that, now you do, maybe you can reduce some fittings. Anyways, unions here. So, you know, if you need to service the pump or change something here or change something there, you just unscrew these, take it out for the winter or whatever. Ball valve here because, you know, we're running downhill from the bog to here, so this line will always be full. So if I want to take the pump out or need to, you know, close that ball valve, then you unscrew that, otherwise, you know, water gushing out. And then it's just a straight run of pipe all the way up to the bog. And up here, I stuck a clean out tee up here. And the reason I did that is 3 reasons. The first reason, not the reason why I did it, is because, you know, this piping is probably full of dirt from all the glue joints I was making out here in the rain and mud. So first of all, I can disconnect the pump and just, you know, use this to flush any junk out of the piping before I start it up. But the real reason I installed it is because this is going to allow me to, I can thread couplings, you know, I can thread adapters onto this and stick a hose on it, and I can use the full power, you know, 7,000 gallons an hour attached right here to clean this bog. So when I need to back flush this thing, maybe once a year or once every 2 years or whenever, you need a really powerful pump. To get the best cleaning you can, you need a really powerful pump to pump water down through that gravel back down into the settling chamber at the bottom of this where it can be pumped out. Well, rather than, you know, having a separate pump to do that, I can do it from right here. I can just attach a fittings and a hose and just run the hose up there and do it from the external pump down here, and I can vary the speed on my phone because it's, you know, Wi-Fi enabled. How cool is that? Anyways, that is the just a little preview of what's going on, and everything looks like a mess right now. I've got these pieces in here because when I turn the impeller or when I turn the pump to make a side discharge, it changed the angles of everything I'd already figured out down here. So now I've got stuff shimmed up until I figure out how to, you know, permanently fix everything in place. Because I also learned this about external pumps, if you didn't know, you don't want the pump carrying the weight of the piping, right? So you don't want like piping hanging off of your pump. That can lead to pump failure. You can break your unions and whatnot if you have long piping, a big decline or something. But anyways, I've just got stuff shimmed up right now with this junk. So it looks like junk and there's a plastic bag over it because it's raining. It's always raining here, so whatever. Gonna get it up and running for my daughter's birthday party on Monday, and we'll see how it goes.